Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. We're getting a first look at what the Gunsmith's going to look like with the weapon integration, as well as a few different things that kind of confirm some of the things that people have leaked and talked about, but also give us an idea of how the integration is actually going to happen and what content we should expect to see once Warzone integration happens with Cold War and Modern Warfare on December 16th. If you enjoy the video, learn something new, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you want to find your way back for more Call of Duty content, just make sure you subscribe with notifications on. We're going to run through this, and I'll also talk about some of my thoughts on some of the different things that are coming through here. So, we have the incoming content primer for Black Ops Cold War Season 1. 80 plus weapons and 50 plus operators will all be within the game. Because there's about 50 weapons currently within Warzone, 30 plus are going to be added with this integration because obviously, as we talked about, they're going to add a new SMG, a rifle, and I think there's one other weapon that they're adding to Cold War, and that brings that weapon count up to 32, I believe. So 32 plus the 50, you end up with over 80 weapons. So it's pretty crazy there. You're going to kind of see how that works. One of the things they have shown off in this little blog from Call of Duty's, their blog, is the menu. They've purposely blocked out certain things. Obviously, there's certain challenges they're blocking out here. Defender kills, LMG kills, which is a little weird how that daily challenges are going to work. But if you look in the background, there's a snow theme. So as a result, that leads me to believe that there's two different things that could go in this area. One could be a holiday themed event, the same way that we had with Halloween, where you have to collect items and things of that like. But there's no tab at the top. So that leads me to believe that this is going to be Rebirth Island. There was a little bit of leaks out there and some people saying that it would probably go out as far as March. This kind of leads me to believe if it's not one of those holiday themed events where you got to gather items the same way we did in Halloween, that this is going to be Rebirth Island. You're going to be able to queue up, load up, and you're going to be able to play in that specific mode. And Verdansk will still be the way it's supposed to with its 150 players, 152 in quads, that you'll be able to play that. And then they're still going to have Plunder Trios, which will likely be Verdansk. So this is pretty much kind of a little bit telling us stuff without necessarily telling us stuff. Kind of is one of those two options, unless it's some limited time mode that they're trying to keep secret. But when they do these types of things, almost everything is intentional. Obviously, we're going to get a little bit of a trailer later on today. I believe it's at 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time during the Game Choice Awards, or whatever the heck it's called, Game of the Year Awards, or whatever those awards are called. So dropping in Warzone Season 1 will be done in similar fashion. Playthrough menu, here's to choose what would be featured playlist, include practice modes, trials. So that was kind of what we just talked about. Then now we have a full look at the fine-tuned weapon arsenal for Warzone. And right here, obviously, we're going to get all these weapons coming in. We got 5. It says 4 marksman rifles, which we know about, 3 LMGs, and then 1 melee weapon. This doesn't add up. It doesn't include the DLC weapons that we've already kind of talked about, which is that SMG and the LMG for those. So basically, you can go into edit your loadout. The field upgrades are still going to work the exact same that we're used to in Warzone. You got your vehicle customization, your watch selection, and then your armory, which particularly I'm glad. I think this is one of the key features that Warzone and Modern Warfare does really well, is that you could save your own individual created classes, and then they get saved in the armory where you can go ahead and quick grab at any given time, especially with the limitation of only 10 loadouts. I like the ability to be able to save a blueprint and say, boom, that's that class setup. And if I want to use that weapon again, I just use that one class setup that I already know is proven, or I have a couple variants of it. I think it allows for 5 custom blueprints that you can make completely all of your own that you can save for future use. So that's going to be interesting. So we got all that in there, and then we get to look at this. So this tells us actually a lot, even though there's not a lot of information here. They are using the attachment names from Cold War for this particular version of the AK-47. So when you go to the menu, you're going to have option to be able to select from weapons, and you're going to have Modern Warfare weapons, and then you're going to have Cold War weapons, or maybe you'll just scroll down and then at a certain point it'll switch over to Cold War weapons, the same way that we kind of see with the operators, which we'll check out in a second. One thing with here is there's no perk spot here, and somebody mentioned this when I tweeted this out on Twitter. They said, well, what about the perks? I mean, I know a lot of people don't use them. You got FMJ, sleight of hand, recon, there's a few other ones, but a lot of those things are built into these other attachments. There's the lasers that give you kind of that recon effect where you're able to detect players at further away. Wonder how they're going to balance this, because that doesn't seem balanced to me. Everything's leading towards Cold War weapons are going to be dominant, especially at the beginning, because they want you to use those weapons. They want you to buy the microtransactions. They want you to buy Cold War to like try and level up the weapons faster. Because one of the first things that they introduced is it's always going to be faster to level guns in their original game, whether it's Modern Warfare for those guns or Cold War for those guns. You could also see that the sleight of hand is built into a lot of the ammunition mags. So a lot of the ammunition spot, a lot of the mags have pros and cons related to reload time. So the sleight of hand is already built into another attachment. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, we're not going to have a monolithic suppressor. The barrels, they work a little bit differently. They affect range and bullet velocity a little bit different. So it's nice to actually be able to see this. And you'll 100% be able to have this AK-47 class setup along with a current Modern Warfare, create a class that is AK-47. So you could have two AK-47s. Obviously, they share ammo. It was not necessarily practical. The AK-47 in Modern Warfare isn't even meta. So you're not likely to see that combination. But if you wanted to, you definitely could. So that's kind of how that part worked. And they already show the operators. Obviously, this has already been in the game for a little bit, where you tab over and then you can see even more operators. You tab over, you see more operators. Some are Modern Warfare and some are Warzone, or some are Cold War. In this particular case, they blocked out these 4 different spots, and those are just new operators that are going to be added to the game. Obviously, some of those have been leaked. You're not necessarily allowed to show those, so I'm not going to show those here. But they do have some new operators, like the new villain that is, kind of being added to Cold War. That's going to be in there. He's going to have this little gas mask looking thing that we kind of see in the trailer. We don't have a lot of information out. I'm not going to give out as much because obviously it's leaked. So that's kind of as far as I'll go on that. Also right here, it says career, new progression system. Everything's going to be in one spot. Obviously, if you've already leveled up, you've already going to have military is going to be all the way leveled up. Each season, it's going to show your seasonal rank. So season 1 or season 0 in our case now, it would be prestige 3, season 2, season 1, season whatever, all the way through. And you're going to have those to be able to see. Right here, this shows us that there's guaranteed going to be, well, not guaranteed, but more than likely there's going to be 6 seasons in the upcoming year. Maybe new COD will drop. They'll go back to season 1 and reloop that cycle. What I will talk about here is that they show, and I don't know if they necessarily meant to, is right here it says season 1. So that means there's not going to be a season 7 for Warzone. Maybe for Modern Warfare, maybe they have some additional content specific to that game that maybe is going to translate into Warzone. But this right here, this saying season 1 and not season 7, tells me that the seasons are just going to restart over and it's going to go back to season 1, which is pretty good news in my opinion. It just keeps everything in line. And then we'll have 6 seasons and then it'll repeat season 1, 6 seasons, repeat season 1. So you have an expectation that every 2 months or so, you're going to get brand new content the same way that we've had this entire year within Modern Warfare, which will likely include 3 additional weapons. And I wonder how that's going to play out. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how the battle pass could work based off some of the things they've already shown us within Cold War. And then we go through pretty much if there's challenges you haven't completed, they're still going to be available. That basically tells me also that leaderboards, challenges, everything that's related to Warzone, pretty much going to stay the same. And then they're going to add a bunch of the Rebirth Island type challenges. So you can go ahead and get those done. There's calling card progression here. What else does it say? Customization. You can have a player profile. I guess it's maybe different. You can equip one versus not. I don't know exactly what they're trying to show there, but they move some tabs over. It looks like, so you have a little bit different looks as far as where things are going to be. Maybe just some quality of life changes because there's a career section as well as a barracks. So they kind of split some of that stuff. Also the shop before you drop, each features the game curated in-game store, which are content, cosmetic bundles can be purchased for COD points. In Warzone, you're going to have access to both playable in Warzone, regardless if you buy it here or here, but they stay separate if you play those own individual multiplayer experiences or zombies in the case of Cold War. Let's see here. And that's pretty much that part. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual game, and then I'll show you exactly what I mean about how the battle pass could work. So when we go to progression, it already has this section of classified. So military rank, and this will be season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4. And then they're going to add a little section here on the bottom left, which is going to be the prestige shop. We're going to be able to use those prestige keys to buy in-game cosmetics, I believe. They've been very hush-hush on that aspect. But if I go to military ranks, you'll notice that each one of these, we're playing Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and what's funny is it just says Black Ops, right? So obviously this is the regular level progression. As you level up, you go through here, you get your items. What I believe is going to happen is that there's going to be an integrated battle pass, which they haven't really talked much about, which is probably going to be pretty cool. It's going to be tons of content of Black Ops, and obviously all that gets added to Warzone. But I think here and there are going to be some weapons added into Warzone from Modern Warfare. There's still some leaked weapons out there. There's an LMG, I believe an SMG, a pistol. I think those are the main 3 weapons that are kind of leaked. And they've shown weapon inspections and stuff like that. The footage is out there, but you'll be able to see that. And what will happen is at a certain point, it might say Modern Warfare, and then it's going to have a little icon under here, under the weapon or whatever you get, XP code, a blueprint, and then it's going to say Modern Warfare. And that's specific to Modern Warfare, but the benefit of playing Warzone is you get all the content from both games. So you're going to get everything if you're playing Warzone. And if you're playing Modern Warfare, you're only going to get the Modern Warfare items for Modern Warfare. If you jumped on Cold War, you'd still have access to those items. If you jump on Cold War and you unlock it, you won't have it access in Modern Warfare, but everything's going to be available in Warzone. I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but this is how I would imagine the Battle Pass system will work. Obviously, these are just perks and nonsense, but imagine replacing these with the normal stuff that we see in the Battle Pass, but instead of one item all the way across, we'll see a second row every so often, where maybe it's a free this or free that for Modern Warfare, or specific to Warzone where it's only in Warzone and not in both games. I don't know. But that gives us a lot of information to go off. I'm pretty excited that this is our first look on it, and it's kind of looking like it's going to go a lot smoother than maybe I thought initially. So we'll see kind of how that goes. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me know down in the comment section. Enjoy the video. Let me know by hitting the like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Appreciate y'all supporting the channel. Thank you for watching as always. Have a great day.